Vancouver. There are many weird things about the city, but there are some weird things that you might not notice right away.
If you've ever been to downtown Vancouver, specifically the area near the two stadiums, you might have noticed these big concrete bridges.
I think most of us can agree that these are huge eyesores and take up much needed space for public housing. Or not, you don't have to agree with me, I don't care. But what are these even? These are the Georgia and Dunsmuir viaducts. They connect Prior Street to Georgia and Dunsmuir streets. Duh!
When you're driving on them, it can look and feel like a freeway. Entering it certainly does. But after just 1 kilometer, it comes to an end on Beatty Street. Why is this? Well, to understand this area, we have to go back at least a century.
This area, False Creek, was much bigger than it is today, and the bridges that are here today were just a bridge, singular. But fast forward to the early 1960s, the Red Scare was in full swing, music was invented, and this bridge was falling apart, so Vancouverites voted to replace it. Also in the 60s, there were ambitious plans for a large freeway network downtown, a huge junction which included the new viaducts, miles of road, and a third crossing on the Burrard Inlet.
If you drive around Metro Vancouver a lot, you may be familiar with this thing.
It's the Cape Horn Interchange in Coquitlam.
It was only completed very recently, but I think it illustrates pretty well how the plan would have gone through. Basically, imagine another one of these smack dab in the middle of downtown Vancouver.
There was one problem though. A big part of it would cut straight through Chinatown, Hogan's Alley, and other historic and notably diverse neighborhoods. So in true 60s fashion, they protested and rebelled. The residents saw this as racist infrastructure, which it very much was. The council's plan was to move everybody out of Chinatown to the outskirts of the city beforehand, so the district would slowly die, meaning they wouldn't have to justify destroying hundreds of homes and shops. They just call it urban blight and bulldoze it. They even made films to try and make it look like it wasn't mass displacement.
But people aren't stupid, and they realized this pretty quickly.
In response, the government rethought the plan. The freeway took a different route that didn't even go through Chinatown or the waterfront. But they still didn't like it. So a third and final plan was released. This time the freeway would stop downtown entirely. They'd even have rapid transit. By this time it was too late. The government had bailed out of funding the project, the public was outraged, and it didn't seem to make sense with the changing times.
The residents even signed a petition to make Chinatown a historic district, therefore not allowing any mega projects like these to be built without consultation.
And that's why you always see these huge signposts near houses that say it is subject to be rezoned. The political party that was elected in 1972 sought to protect homeowners from projects like these. But the viaducts were also already half-built, so construction continued. And today, we're left with arguably Vancouver's shortest stretch of freeway. More recently, it's been stated that the viaducts today carry less than half of the capacity they were designed for, and there are plans to bring Georgia and Dunsmuir to ground level and build housing and parks.
But a project like this doesn't come without pros and cons.
A downside of TEAM being put in power was stricter zoning laws, meaning cheap and dense housing would be harder to build, affecting the housing market. And we all know the issue of congestion. A freeway would have eased it.
But on the other hand, if you encourage people to drive without alternatives available, your only option is obviously to drive, which causes more traffic, which only beats the purpose of a freeway. And downtown Vancouver is pretty nice the way it is. Mostly. A freeway would have made it like most North American downtowns. Seas of parking devoid of life.
But at the end of the day, it's night. I mean, it didn't get built. And whether or not Vancouver is a better city because of it, that's up for debate forever. And differing opinions like these are what are needed to reach a compromise. That's what democracy is all about.
So please, vote for the love of